All right, so we're going to find the perimeter. What shape is this?
Rectangle.
It's a rectangle. What do we know about our rectangle here?
Is that it has
That the perimeter is 3
Well, we don't know the perimeter yet. We're going to find the perimeter.
the area is 7.
We're not worried about the area. What do we know about this side of our rectangle? That side is 3. What do we know about this side?
7.
Does it matter which one I pick for my length?
No.
No, it doesn't matter. You can pick either one for your length and either one for your width. In fact, I might work it this way and you might work it out the other way. We'll get the same answer. It's okay. You can work it either way. What does this cursive L stand for? Length. They use a cursive L because a lowercase l looks like the number 1. And then the W stands for? And what does the P stand for? Perimeter. Remember, perimeter is the rim of the object. So we're finding this distance right here about around the rim of our rectangle. All right, so we're going to use the formula P equals 2 times L, where L is length, plus 2 times width, where W is width. Put your water bottle on the floor. All right, my length is 7, so now instead of writing 2 times L, I'm going to write 2 times 7. So in that blank, put a 7 because our length is 7. And then my width is 3. So instead of 2 times W, I'm now going to write 2 times what?
3.
Good. Now you have to work multiplication before addition. So you're going to do the part that's in the parentheses first. So I have to do 2 times 7 and I have to do 2 times 3 before I can add. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 7. See, we don't know our perimeter, so we're leaving the P. We keep the equal sign. And then in this blank, it's going to be the answer to 2 times 7. What is 2 times 7?
14.
And then we keep our plus sign. And then over here, we're going to put the answer of 2 times 3. What is 2 times 3?
6.
Good. The product of 2 and 3 is 6. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. 2 times 3 is 6. Now I have P as in perimeter. Very good. Perimeter equals 14 plus 6. Then I can work this out. What's 14 plus 6?
20.
20. And the M is for meters. Perimeter is equal to 20 meters.
Cool.
All right, let's look at this next shape. Perimeter is what we're looking for. Think about my horse in her pasture. Is perimeter the fence or the grass that she has to eat? It's the fence. Perimeter. The word rim inside of perimeter helps you remember where to go. How do you find perimeter of any shape? Add what? Add all the sides. Good. So we're going to pick one to be our length and one to be our width. Caden, what do you want to be the length? Okay. Our length is going to be 8, so that means 6 is going to be our width. So we're going to write down our formula. Look back at your formula chart. We're doing perimeter, and do we have a square or a rectangle?
Square.
Whoa. Is this a square or a rectangle? It's a rectangle. So we're looking for perimeter of a rectangle, so we can either use the formula length plus width plus length plus width, or we can use the formula when they're side by side like that. It means to what? It means to multiply. 2 times length plus 2 times width. You might want to even write that on your little chart. 2 times length plus 2 times width. When they're side by side, it means to multiply. Which formula would you like to use? Ellis? Okay, so I'm going to write down my formula. You're going to write your formula every time. P for perimeter equals 2 times length in parentheses plus 2 times width in parentheses. If you'll get in the habit of doing this, it will help you tremendously because eventually you're going to be finding the perimeter of other shapes, area, surface area, volume, and all of those types of things use formulas. So if you will get in the habit of writing down your formula, it'll make your math life a lot easier. We've already labeled what our length is and our width, so then we can use those to substitute into my formula. I don't know the perimeter, so I'm going to leave that as P. I'm going to keep my equal sign, and my 2 is going to stay the same, but my L, instead of writing an L, I'm going to write what my length is. What is my length? My length is 8, so I'm going to substitute in an 8 for L. I'm going to keep everything else the same except for the letters. Do I know my W? What's the W?
6.
So I'm going to put in a 6 for W. Okay? Then I'm going to work out the things that I know. I still don't know my perimeter, so I'm going to leave it as P. Can I do 2 times 8? Yes, 2 times 8 is 16. And can I do 2 times 6?
Yes.
What's 2 times 6?
12.
Good, so I'm going to write that down. So now I have P equals 16 plus 12. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now what should we do?
16 plus 12 equals
Good.
28.
Very good. 16 plus 12 is equal to 28. And it is perimeter, and my unit is yards. I'm going to write down yards. The abbreviation for yards is YD. Is that my answer?
Yes.
Yes. Box in your answer. Makes it a lot easier to find it. Okay, the next one is going to make you think a little bit because it gives us different things on this one. Now, the directions say find the perimeter, but if I look inside of my shape, what shape is that?
A rectangle.
It's a rectangle because it's a 4-sided polygon with opposite sides. That means the top and the bottom are opposite. They're across from each other. They are congruent, which means they are the same length, and they are parallel, which means they never touch each other. They're always the same distance apart. And the left and right are also congruent and parallel. So I'm not going to be finding the perimeter. I'm going to be finding my width. So mark out that word perimeter there and write width at the top. We're really looking for the width. All right. It doesn't tell us what 12 is, but if this is our width, what does 12 have to be? Our length. Very good. So I'm going to write an L there. And since we have perimeter, we're going to use the same formula for perimeter. Perimeter equals, do you want to use the same one or do you want to use the all adding one? Okay. So I'm going to write that down, length plus width plus length plus width. So once you have your formula written down, you're going to substitute in the things that you know. Do I know my perimeter? Yeah, they give us the perimeter this time. So instead of P equals, I'm going to write 32 equals.
Do we have to subtract?
We're going to explore and see what we need to do. Okay, do I know my length?
Yes.
I know the length is 12, so I'm going to substitute in a 12 for length. Do I know my width?
Yes.
No, I don't know my width. So I'm going to, now that's going to be my missing or my unknown. So I'm going to leave the W. For my other L, I'm going to put in a 12, and I'm going to leave my other W. So now I know that 32 is equal to 12 plus W plus 12 plus W. So if I add two of the same thing, plus 12, I'm going to get 32 as my sum. What is the sum? Answer when you add. Good. All right, so I can go ahead and put the things together over here. So I have 12 plus 12, which is,
24.
so 32 is equal to 24 plus W plus W. So I'm going to think here. Let's speed this up a little bit. So if I have a part and I add another part to it, I get the whole thing. But what if I have the whole thing and I have a part? What can I do to get the other part? I can do the whole thing minus part, and that will give me the other part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to use on this. So I have the whole thing here. The whole thing is 32, and I have part of it is 24, and the other part is 2 W's. So what could I do to try and get me closer to my answer of width? Evelyn, what would you subtract? Good. So if I do 32 minus 24, that's going to tell me what my 2 W's are. Okay, so I'm always going to subtract going down. If I have 2, can you take away 4?
No.
So we've got to borrow. Where are we going to borrow from?
3.
The 3 is going to become a, and the 2 is going to become?
12.
Then I have 12 minus 4 is
8.
And 2 minus 2 is,
0.
so now I have 8 is equal to W plus W. What do we know about this W compared with this W?
They're both equal.
They're equal to each other, right? They're the same. So if I have two of the exact same things and I put together and it makes 8, what could I do to find out what that thing is?
8 divided by 2.
Very good. I'm going to take 8 and divide it by 2. Because I have two of the exact same things and I put them together and it makes 8. So that means this W is half of 8 and this W is half of 8.
Oh, I
So-
know what it is.
So I can take 8 and divide it in half. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now I know that W is equal to 4. And it's feet.
That's a lot.
I'm going to write it right here too so you can see it better. Okay. Now the last example is what shape?
A square.
So look back at your formula chart for perimeter and square. Remember we drew the little squares there. We're not finding the area, so we don't want that formula. We want the formula for perimeter. So what does it mean when they're side by side like that, the 4 and the S? What did it mean? I heard it back here. It means to multiply. Very good. That means 4 times S when they're side by side like that. So perimeter is equal to 4 times S. And they even wrote our formula right here for us. So on a rectangle, we have a length and a width. But on a square, all the sides are the same length. So instead of writing length and width, you just have to know that one side is equal to the length, and they label it S for the length of the side. One side is 2, then that means all sides are 2. And that means, how many sides are there? 4 sides, and if they're all 2, then you have 4 groups of 2. So instead of 4 times S, I'm going to write 4 times 2. And what is 4 times 2?
8.
So the perimeter on that little square is 8 centimeters. So what do y'all think about perimeter?
Easy.
And how do you find the perimeter of any shape?
On the side.
Add all the sides. Very good.